How's it going, guys? This is Crazy Ron here. And what I was wanting to show you guys today is, of course, another documentary that I found, but it's actually on Fox 10 News. Now, I want to show you this today because it is about an abduction. And it's a 50-year-old abduction that two men were abducted at the same time. Footage you have to see. And I'd like to thank you for watching. This is Crazy Ron. Tune back next time and subscribe at the top. And I'll throw you another video if I can here in a few minutes.
Here's how to get Michael Myers, the story that just might make you rethink everything. It's been a debate for decades. Are aliens out there, and have they ever made contact with us? After 45 years of keeping it a secret from his own family, a Gulf Coast man's declining health has given him a reason to write a book and leave his legacy. Calvin Parker is now ready to tell the story of the event that would change his life forever. Do you ever get any feelings or flashbacks when you come out here?
No, it's changed. It's hard to feel anything when you come out here.
What do you think about the whole experience? Did it happen?
I think something happened down there. I'm not at all sure what happened.
Something happened to him, the way they were upset. You don't fight fear. You know, he was scared. He was scared out of his mind.
In 1973, Calvin Parker was 19, a hard worker who just wanted to build a home and raise a family. But those plans would be derailed during a fishing trip in Pascagoula.
A real bright beam appeared all over us, but it kind of blinded me for a second, and when I got my vision back, I seen three bulky-looking creatures coming toward us.
Parker will tell you, because of this night, he spent the last 45 years in hiding, scared to face the curious and unrelenting public eye.
We'd get up and go to work in the morning, nobody would never know, and they won't make us out to be idiots.
But after suffering a stroke and having 2 open-heart surgeries, in a rare interview, Parker is recounting to me the night that changed his life.
We pulled up, and I noticed there was posted signs there. And I said, Charlie, you know, maybe we don't need to go fishing here. He said, no, that's fine. And that's when I noticed some blue hazy lights reflecting coming across from my back, out across the water. So I stood up thinking that I was going to go to jail for trespassing.
Just north of where Ingalls Shipyard now sits, Parker and his fishing buddy, 42-year-old Charles Hickson, would do anything but fish that night.
I seen 3 bulky-looking creatures coming toward us, and they was probably 4.5, 5 foot tall. They built like football players, but I noticed they kind of moved mechanical-wise, and they was floating off the ground. By the time we stood up and turned around, they was there on us all at one time. So 2 of them got a hold of Charlie, 1 of them got a hold of myself, and instantly I felt like that I just got relaxed.
Parker claims he and Hickson were levitated into the spacecraft.
There was an examination room, what I call it. And the old big ugly creature that brought me in, he took me and laid me on the examination table. And he just backed up out of the way. I couldn't move or anything. All I could do was look. And there was something about the size of a deck of cards that came out of the ceiling, and it hovered about a foot in front of my eyes, and then it went to the right side of my head and it clicked, went behind my head and it clicked, went to the left side of my head and clicked, and then straight to the front, and then it shot back up in the ceiling. And that's when I noticed some kind of little ruffling noise, and this more feminine looking creature came out. She looked completely different than the what I call the robot, because he moved like a robot, just mechanical wise. She looked kind of feminine looking and had fingers, regular fingers and all, come over and pinched me on side of the cheek. And then she took her finger and run down my throat and got behind that little thing that hangs down back there and tried to come up my nasal told me, don't be afraid, we're not going to hurt you.
And with those words, Parker says the aliens dropped he and Hickson back off on the bank. Frozen in fear, Parker didn't want to let anyone know what happened. Hickson, however, said they had to tell somebody, so they called the Jackson County Sheriff's Office.
And I said, can I help you? He said, yeah, I've had something happen. I said, you gonna laugh if I tell you what it is. I said, look, brother, go ahead and tell me, I'm busy. What happened? He said, I got picked up by a UFO. I laughed. He said, I told you was gonna laugh.
Still, former Jackson County Captain Glenn Ryder told the men to come into the station. Jackson County deputies had two choices that night. They could choose to believe Parker and Hickson had really been taken from the banks of the Pascagoula River like they said, or they could figure out if they were lying. So deputies stuck a secret tape recorder inside an interrogation room back at the station. It's what they heard on those tapes that made them believe the two were not lying.
They were upset. I figured they'd say, well, look, we got these guys food, but it wasn't that. They were still. The boy especially was upset.
The men would take lie detector tests and pass. Ufologists and researchers flew in right away to interview and hypnotize the two, concluding they did experience something traumatic. The two were even sent to Keesler Air Force Base in Biloxi to make sure they weren't radioactive.
It's a circus, media circus.
Within days, the story went global. After the two were checked out, former WALA TV reporter Rennie Brabner caught up with them.
Up at the emergency room door, there's a line of sheriff's cars out there. We went in with our cameras going, and at least for the first time saw the two guys.
Brabner says to this day, it's still something viewers never seem to forget.
There's a reasonable chance that they'll say, wait a minute, didn't you cover those guys getting on the UFO? What do you think? Most of the stories you do, they're gone tomorrow, the next day, or whenever. And it's always intrigued me a little bit that had some legs, some interest, particularly years and years and years later.
Like Captain Ryder, Brabner too believes something happened that night, but he isn't sure what.
I do not think they made it up, in the sense that they created out of whole cloth. I have been told that particularly Hickson was known to take a drink. Was it at the bottom of a bottle of John Barleycorn? I don't know.
Charles Hickson wrote a book on his encounter and spoke numerous times about it. He passed away in 2011. Parker says he's a religious man and believes there's an explanation why he went through what he did. For now, he still ponders why it happened to him.
You can't really pin everything down. You don't really know. And that's the point I'm holding out. I don't know what happened. I know something happened.
Definitely something to think about. Parker says the city of Pascagoula now plans to place a marker on the banks of the river this summer. We mentioned that this interview is rare since Parker spent most of his life hiding from the spotlight. Well, he says after a year of promoting his new book and speaking, he'll retreat from the spotlight once again. He plans to buy a houseboat and live on it with his wife. Now, if you want to know more about his book, The Closest Encounter, just head to our website, fox10tv.com.
Alright guys, I'd like to thank you for watching Eyewitness Encounters of the Third Kind. I have no idea what that. Now, I only like to show true and actual footage. I will go through and try to find another video of some strange phenomenon caught on tape. Stay tuned until next time. Subscribe at the top. Thank you for watching Eyewitness Encounters of the Third Kind.